How do I feed my family nutritious meals and homeschool?
Anyone who has ideas on that, do send them my way. So I'm still working on that. We found some things that do work, and that is, you alluded to it earlier, involving the kids. They're a lot more excited to eat if they have helped with it in general. Most kids are like that. They have ownership in the thing that you made, so they want to eat it.
Right.
The other thing they're excited about is if they grew it in their garden. We tend to let everyone have a little plot of land, and they can decide what they want to grow on it. And boy, the day that they pick something out of their little garden, they want to make sure that they eat that, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a good little trick to use. It also helps you eat, kind of seasonally too, and it helps helps them understand the cycle of life. We have chickens as well, and so I remember well the the first two foster children that we had. We ended up adopting them, but they came to us when they were 5 and not quite 2. And our 5-year-old, we bought little chicks at the country store and brought them home. So excited to let them have that experience of feeding them. And when she went out to check on the chick the day after we brought it home, she was just so surprised that it was still little, that it wasn't just grown up overnight, right? And so there's value in this kind of seeing that you can't just like plant a seed and put 1,000 gallons of water on it and harvest it the next day. The law of sowing and harvest. There's a lot of value in that, because that's how life is too.
Right.
So involve them for sure. You again alluded to that. Let them cut what they can cut up. Let them chop what they can chop, or peel, or set the table. Everybody helps clean off the table and stuff like that. The the other thing that we did, because we have a lot of people that love to play the piano around here, or the organ, and we wrote up our schedule, of things for everyone's responsibilities for each meal. If you were helping fix it or clean it up, or what you were doing, and we dismissed one person so they could practice. Otherwise, we have a battle over who's practicing. That's a good problem to have, right?
Very good problem.
But it's not really fun to have this battle around every mealtime. Or it doesn't have to be a mealtime, just someone goes and starts playing, and then someone else is like, oh yeah, they're playing, I want to play too. That helped to resolve that a little bit, where don't worry, your turn's coming. You're excused from your meal prep things, on this meal, right? And that was a helpful thing too. The other trick is to, if possible, it's not always possible to do a bigger meal at lunch. That's though helpful if you can do that, because people aren't so tired like they are between 4 and 5 o'clock if you're trying to fix a bigger meal. And now that doesn't work as well with dads that are coming home from work and are really hungry too. So to counterbalance that, I love freezer meals myself, where we just, assemble a bunch of freezer meals one day, put them in the freezer with them labeled and things, and then just pull them out and dump them in the crock pot the morning that we want to eat them by the nighttime, and let them thaw out the night before. That's a real blessing, because then you just are doing a little bit, maybe cutting up a salad, or steaming a vegetable or something to go with whatever's in the crock pot. And then when people are getting tired, there's not so many things that are needed to do so that you could eat.
Mm-hmm.
Though if the kids are participating, then that's even better, right? Then you shouldn't have to worry about that. But for some reason, I've had better luck doing it earlier in the day. Also with breakfast, things like breakfast casseroles, the kids can help make during the day before, and then you can just slap them in the oven in the morning, and then they're ready so that you could just eat them then. The homesteading family people, Josh and Carolyn Thomas, have a lot of good ideas relative to this. So we will put that link in the resources as well. They have some good breakfast recipes and things like that that we've used over the years that are really good and not difficult to make because they have a lot of kids too and they homeschool. So
Nice.
it helps with that. Yes. And then just having a positive feeling when you're eating, fun questions. How was your day? Some people like to do, what was your least favorite thing? What was your happiest thing that happened? What was your favorite moment of the day? And it's nice to let everybody practice taking turns talking and listening to each other. That can be hard for littler kids sometimes. So it's nice to practice that and have the meal be a positive time of day, not necessarily a negative time of day. It gets a little tricky when you have a wide age range like we do.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about that. We've got kids all over the place for different events and, things that they're committed to.
Yeah, like we have to really try to guard the dinner hour. But the kids that are working, or my husband's working, that it's not always feasible for everybody to be here at the dinner time hour. So sometimes some of them will be here at lunch that wouldn't be here at dinner. And so it's kind of a tricky balance to achieve. It's true. We are fixing food, eating it, and cleaning it up a lot.
All the time.
Right. And yet, you want to fuel your body well so that you feel well. And that's a good thing to spend time.
Well, and I think we should also make sure and clarify, people understand, it's okay and can be 100% classified as school to, one day a week or even 2 days a week be just full on meal prep. You're talking about the freezer meals.
Yes.
That's all you're doing. You're obviously eating in between, but, you're not worried about the moment, that everyone's going to study their academics or whatever. It's just all hands on deck. Let's get this food prepped, for the coming week.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of value in that. The other thing that happens too during the harvest season, when you're harvesting, if you've got a lot of corn or if you buy corn so that you can freeze it for the winter time.
Mm-hmm.
And also that happened to us this week too, where we had back in the summertime, we had a bumper crop of green beans and we had them picked and snapped and ready to cook. But one day while we were blanching and cutting corn off the cob, I saw those there and I thought, that's more than we can eat fast enough. So maybe let's just try blanching them, freezing them, and see what happens. So we did. I only had 2 quart bags of them, which fed us one meal. But we had them this week. I've been kind of holding on to them for the perfect moment. And they were amazing. Tasted just like you had walked out, picked them in the garden, and then steamed them. Nice. They were so good. And the kids are really excited to eat those because they helped plant them and they helped snap them and, helped see them go in the hot pot and all of that. That is all really great education.
Yeah. And you can delegate things too. Maybe you have the girl, let's say, that's just, an organized freak or whatever, or just loves her lists or worksheets or whatever, it might be, but, maybe that more administrative type person, but absolutely despises the act of cooking, maybe, or whatever. Or maybe it's a boy, it doesn't matter, the gender, but there's always going to be someone that's not as excited about cooking as others. So maybe they can, save you some time and you can dump all your, recipes that you want to do for the coming week and tell them to, compile a grocery shopping list so that you have all the stuff that you need.
Yeah.
Just different things like that to, keep everyone busy and involved. And at the same time, hopefully, lighten your load a little bit as the parent.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, it's a great idea. And it involves, like you said, all ages of kids. That way you've got the, kind of the young adult helping, right, as well as the little ones helping. Yeah, it's very good.